Hello and welcome to Press TV News Analysis. As usual, we're going to take two of the top stories and break it down a little further for you, in-depth look. First, after weeks of denying that it used white phosphorus in the heavily populated Gaza Strip, Israel finally admitted yesterday that the weapon was deployed in its offensive. Another incident involved targeting the Al-Badr flour mill in northern Gaza, which was severely damaged during Israel's three-week offensive. This evidence directly contradicts an Israeli report which challenged allegations that the building was deliberately targeted and specifically stated there was no evidence of an airstrike. Judge Goldstone used the account of the airstrike as a sign that Israel's attack on the mill, which was the only operational mill in Gaza, was not mere collateral damage but precisely targeted and a possible war crime. Any country that is a signatory to the Geneva Convention can try to prosecute individuals who took part in the Gaza war as culpable of crimes against humanity. Let's find out what this all means. Joining us from London is Azam Tamimi, who's a director of the Institute of Islamic Political Thought. Azam Tamimi, many thanks for joining us. Let's look at where Israel stands right now. I mean, it's beginning to realize that it can no longer ignore criticisms of war crimes. And given that realization, given the fact that these two revelations have come now, that's hit the news, it is now moving to protect its officials. How do you foresee them doing this? What stage is Israel at now regarding the allegations which are now contradicting what they're coming out with?
Well, I think the Israelis have been embarrassed at the international arena because of the ability of the world media, and especially the media representatives who were in Gaza during the attack on it by Israel, to relay to the four corners of the globe what the Israelis were doing. It is almost impossible for the Israelis to deny what has become known as a fact. And now they're trying to whitewash this by claiming to have rebuked a couple of officers for an unwarranted or an illicit use of white phosphorus on a certain place at a certain moment, while still insisting that the use of white phosphorus on other occasions and on other targets was permissible. I think the Israelis are in utter contradiction. They are supposed to be representing the liberal West that believes in the rule of law, that believes in transparency, that believes in the various conventions that this modern liberal world has produced since the Second World War. But in reality, what they do to the Palestinians is nothing but war crimes and crimes against humanity.
And of course, on the issue of war crimes, now the question comes about, since they have violated grave breaches obviously of the Fourth Geneva Convention, how is this going to proceed in terms of holding them accountable? And of course the question always comes to mind of taking officials, Israeli officials, to the International Criminal Court.
I very much doubt that the United States of America will allow proceedings against Israel. Of course, it's good news that we hear more voices that express concern about what the Israelis did to the people of Gaza during the war. But when it comes to the international arena, the United States of America, I expect, will continue to act as a shield, protecting Israel from any condemnation, from any prosecution at the international level. It would, of course, have been great if the world legal or judiciary apparatus could act in independence, but this is not the reality.
Let's move on to what Israel has stated. Persistently, they have obviously denied that they used white phosphorus bombs against civilians in the Gaza war. But in particular, let's take a listen to the Israeli military spokeswoman at the time of the war and see what she said.
The Israel Defense Forces do not use any weapons against civilians. The munitions in question are used as a smokescreen On the battlefield, S is used by Western countries.
Well, as Tamimi, we just heard there, the Israeli spokeswoman there. Now the question comes that obviously they're caught in this lie. Does the world understand that? Is that how they're going to be perceived when we compare what we just heard to what they have come out and said?
I think many people will recognize in this the compulsive lying nature of Israelis. And this is something that the world was familiar with during the years of direct colonialism, because colonial powers, whether in whether in Latin America or Africa or Asia, lied about what they did to the nations of those countries. Therefore, people who are familiar with that part of history will know exactly where the Israelis are coming from. The whole Zionist project is based on a lie. It's based on fabrications. It's based on false assumptions that this land belonged to the people who came to inhabit them from various parts of the world, in the absence of the actual indigenous, original and lawful population. So everything that builds or stems out of the Zionist project is a lie after lie. It's all a pack of lies.